Alright guys, like I did in my first video on this series, I got my family home safe. I got my wife, I met my wife, got my wife home, got my kids home, and my brother is now meeting me at the house. Alright? But there's a couple of things you want to consider when you're getting ready for this event. Alright? We could say it's a solar flare, an EMP, or it could be this a pandemic, any event that it can be, right? You've got to take a lot of things in consideration. And my first consideration for me is either I could bug in here or I could wind up here. All right, so it all depends on the situation at the time. Like I said, if it's going to be a harsh winter, right, I ain't going to chance bringing my whole family up here. Okay, but if the weather is good and everything, you have to make this decision where you're going to be hunkering down immediately. You're only going to have a couple of days to really make your mind up, right? So, because if all the power goes out and the vehicles are not working, or even if the vehicles are working and if something happened where all the highways are clogged up, like I said, we have the mopeds, so we could get out of the city. You know, I get like 65 to 70 miles a gallon on those things, right? I got enough of them to get us around and get us out of there, right? I'm gonna be showing you my new one soon. I'm getting another one coming in. But this is my homestead up in the mountains, up here. I got plenty of space up here. I got plenty of water up here. I got plenty of food storage up here also, right? But the only downside about being here, right, is if I'm gonna come up here, I need people, and I gotta make sure I have everybody coming with me, because me and my family up here alone, right, that's when you're done, right? You're opening yourself up to many of people around. You got too much area to cover. You got too much area to watch. You got too much work to do by yourself here, right? So the difference of here and in the city, up here you become more of a farmer type prepper. You know, you got your gardens, you got your you got your natural springs of water and everything. But back in the city, you become more of a, how would I say? You become more of not a scavenger, but a master of resources, right? Because in the city, believe me, you know, you're not going to have all the farming and the natural springs, but there's plenty of water to be found in the city. There's plenty of food to be found in the city, but you have to be, you got to master those resources. When you're in the city, you got to know where to find these little supply caches and and little places where people would never think about to find food, right? So if you're going to be a city prepper, right, you got to really, that's part of your prepping, is taking this all into consideration of where I can find food when something does go wrong, right? But like I said, your main important thing is to be hunkered down in your house for a while, right? I'm not going to get into a debate whether here you're going to be better off up in the mountains or you're going to be better off in the city. Because to me, I think you're better off at both places if you're prepping, right? You have some advantages up here, you have some disadvantages. And the same thing in the city. You have some advantages in the city, and you have a lot of disadvantages. In the city, you got a lot of cover. You know, you do have a lot of people around you, right? Up here, you're alone with your family up here, and then you get a bunch of people coming after you. You know, there's nobody around to hear you. There's nobody around to even, you know, to try to save you, right? You're on your own. You're on your own out here. So that's why if you're gonna go to your bug out location, right, make sure you have people. Prepping alone, it's not gonna work, and it never will work prepping by yourself. Even in the city, you got to make sure everybody's gonna be meeting at one house and riding out the storm from there, right? So I'm not saying what place is better. They both have their good points. They both have their bad points. A lot of people agree that this is the only place you could survive, is out in the mountains. I disagree with that. You know, I feel more comfortable in the city, I tell you the truth, because it's such a, I got fortification, big time, right? Nobody's rolling up on me. Up here, you got a vast. Look at those tree lines behind me. You could have people watching you for days and planning on what they're going to do for you. So you really, up here, you have to have a nice amount of people. All right. With that said, I'm not going to go into the whole homestead up here too much, right? Because it's going to be later on in my prepping series, right? But I'm just going to, right now, what I'm showing you, how I am setting up my home back in the city for a long time haul, right? And I believe a lot of people that don't have homesteads away from the city, don't be discouraged, man. You're going to be all right too, because I'm going to show you, you fortify your home, and remember, you just stick it out for 3 to 4 months, and you're okay, because a lot of it's going to die down. And another good thing about the city is the cities are going to be the first place to get any kind of help. All right, so when something does go wrong, they're going to rebuild the cities before they even come out here to help anybody. Right, so that's another little thing you want to think about too. Right, so you got to weigh all this out. All right, what I'm going to do, I'll give you a quick little tour around the homestead up here, and give you a little ride around. All right, but I'm going to go into up here a little further in detail later on in my series. But hey, welcome. Right over here in this corral over here, this is where my whole garden is going to be. You know, I hope I'm not too late, but next weekend I'm going to be turning all this over. This whole garden is going to be all turned over in here. It's a little herb garden in there, potatoes, tomatoes, everything. Hey, tomatoes. All right, so this is my whole garden area. I got to get myself some chicken wire and start that going. So there it is, right there. Let's see if you can see it. And this is all going to be plowed out. This is another little place back here I got. Right, I cleared all this out. I got a lot of water running along the side here, so it's a really good place to start gathering water also. I got berry bushes coming out of my rear end up here. I got blackberries, raspberries, everything. A little tight over here. Okay, I want to show you this, guys. This is pretty cool. I got to start fixing this up. But to me, water's not really going to be a problem. Like I got ponds and lakes all over the place around here. Right over here, I got natural runoff right here and here. I don't know how good you can see it. But right in here, I got a nice little well, right, that has to be fixed up. There is water in there, but I gotta take this cover off, right, and just maybe fix it up a little bit, and I get a lot of natural spring water going right into there. Right, comes right off the side of the mountain here. Right, it's good stuff. Hold on, we gotta get through this. Weehaw! All right. That's what I got. I got a lot of resources up here, but we're gonna go into that later on, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the ride, and let's get back to the city. Damn it, this is a city survivalist video. I'll be back. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the little tour of my bug out location. I'm gonna get into that location later on in the series. This is going to be mainly about city survival, right, in the beginning here, right? So one of my first order of business is once I get my family home, right, I got one of my bug out bikes ready to go, right? If you notice on this one, you've seen in my other videos, has the saddlebags on it, I got the gas engine on it, takes two cycle mixed gas, right, the 2-cycle engine, I'm sorry, it's mixed gas with a 2-cycle engine, right? This bike, what I'm going to do is basically one of the first things I'm going to do once everybody's safe is I'm getting out on the road with this. Even though I have all my preps here, I got my 4 months worth of supply food in my house and everything, I'm going to start going out and trying to buy more. So there comes the problem with money, right? You have to make sure one of your preps has to be some cash on hand. No matter how much, a few $100s, a few $1,000. It depends on your circumstance. Because what you want to do is you're going to run out there, right? And if all the power's out and everything's gone down, you want to get out there and start buying up as much food as you can, especially if this is going to be a long haul, right? And you're not going to go to Sam's Club, you're not going to go to Costco's, because what's going to happen to Sam's Club, Costco's, any of the big grocery stores like Warbounds, any of those stores, they're going to shut their gates as soon as the power goes down. Believe me, they're not going to let people come in there on the honor system, right? Oh, I'll pay you later. Not going to happen. And sometimes I think these big supply places are told to shut down, right? Because those supply places are going to come supply caches for military, police, fire, and everything else. Okay, so take that in mind. But where you want to go is to the bodegas, the little 99-cent stores, all those mom and pop stores. They're going to keep their doors open even when the power goes out, because they know they're going to make a killing, right? If they were smart, they would close their stores up and save the food for their family. But most people are not in the beginning. It's greed, right? So they're all still going to be open. All these small little mom and pop stores will be open. And you're going to run down there with your bike, with your saddlebags, a backpack on, and you're going to grab as much stuff as you can, Hold on, be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Where was my wife poured me some coffee. She makes the best coffee. All right, so where was I? As far as the little mom and pop stores, even the hardware stores like Home Depot, I think they're going to close their doors. Truthfully and honestly, these big franchises, I think are going to shut down as soon as power goes off. So you're going to have to rely on those little hardware stores, because they're all going to stay open because they all want the money. All right, so it's greed sets in at that point, because they know everybody's going to be flooding to buy anything they can, right? Not thinking that if I own the grocery store, my door will be locked too, because I'm going to save that for mine. All right, and okay, so once I get out on the road, I'm going to do that because the first few days you're going to be fine. It's not going to be, people are not going to start rioting and wanting to kill you in the middle of the street, right, in the first few days. Everybody's going to be in shock. Everybody's going to be discomforted until it starts settling in. All right, and that's what I will do for a while. Between me and my brother and my two friends, we're going to go out on the bikes and try to buy up as much as we can. Right, so we don't have to touch our preps. We can start working off other stuff we bought in the store first. Right, so you get the whole hang of that. So keep that in mind. Don't touch your preps when you still can buy stuff on the outside. Have a little cash in your house or in your pocket. All right, and that's what this bike comes in. I'm going to zip all around the place like a maniac and just buy stuff. Right. Okay, now another little thing you want to take in consideration is water. Right. I know there's a lot of preppers out there. There's a lot of good systems they got on YouTube, how to store water, how to hook up to your drain lines and everything like that, make buckets outside. That's all fine. I choose a little different route, right, that I think people in the city might want to take in consideration, right? Especially when things start going haywire outside. You want to try to not go out there as much as you can. So I came up with an idea where I bought 3 of these little baby pools, right? 3 of these little baby pools. They were $29.99, right? So you look at that, hey, look at that little box. What are you going to hold in that? This baby pool holds 552 gallons of water, right? So in other words, if it's not a power failure or, on the lines of a pandemic or maybe a dollar collapse where we still have our water running, what you want to do is set these things up in your house, right? And get a garden hose and start filling them up, right? But if it is a total blackout and it's an EMP, a solar flare, or whatever the case might be, we don't have no power. I don't know, you might want to correct me on this, but I believe city systems do have some kind of backup for a while. So as soon as you see the power goes out and cars are not starting and all that fun stuff, you're going to start filling these pools, right? But if you can't fill them through city water, that's when you take a bucket, right, and you buy PVC pipe, all right, and what you're going to do, you're going to drill a hole in the bottom of your bucket, right, and you're going to buy a piece of PVC pipe like that, and you make the hole big enough for this piece to fit in, and this piece with its gasket, right, screws right down on this side, right, And what I do now, once this thing is attached to the bottom, right? Once it's attached to the bottom, you go to Home Depot. These things you have to have already. You got to have this on hand already, all right? You go to Home Depot and you buy the tubing, right? Which I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna put this pool outside. I'm putting this pool in my garage, right? I'm putting one of the pools in my living room, right? Or you got a spare room somewhere or basement, right? Out of sight, out of mind. And I'm gonna hang these buckets, cut my gutters on my house, and hang these buckets. I got 2 gutters, and a lot of water comes when that rain pours. I get a lot of water coming off that, and I'm gonna feed the tubes into my house. All right, so one tube's gonna go into my garage, and here's the pool. Little compact pool. You unroll it, right? I'll open it up. I'll show you, but very compact. You throw these things in the closet. A great idea. Please take my advice on this. You don't got to worry about keeping things outside. And you can run all your hoses in your house, right? So nobody sees your supply of water, right? Especially when things start getting crazy out there. You don't want people, hey, I see you have those buckets and you're coming out there getting fresh water. Can I have some? Can I have some? What's going to happen? People are just going to come take the water. But you run it inside your house, out of sight, out of mind, especially in the city. Because we all know majority of people in the city are not prepping, right? And they're going to be looking at their windows. They're going to see what everybody's doing, who's looking good, and they're going to look for handouts. You know, you're going to help. You got to help some people. You're going to try to help as many people as you can without jeopardizing your own family's safety. All right? So that's the little pool thing I wanted to show you. Let me open it up and show you what it looks like. All right, guys. See, you get the pool opens up pretty big. You know, it's the dimensions on the pool is 8 foot around. So you got 8 foot around, right? And it's 18 inches deep, right? And you're gonna, what happens? There's no assembling of this pool. It's just a vinyl wall, right? With the vinyl bottom. And as you're filling it up with water, all the sides, the pressure of the water pushes against the sides and makes it sturdy. Right, so that's all it is. You open it up, and that's it. You fill this sucker up with water. That's 552 gallons of water. All right, so you can put this in your garage. You can put it in your basement. Put it in your apartment. They sell smaller ones that hold 225 gallons of water, like the smaller ones, and they go for about, I think they were $16. They're smaller, so they might be maybe better for apartment because you could put them in a couple of different places. But these are fine because these are 8 around, and I could fit 2 of them in my garage with no problem, right? So it's a good little idea, and like they roll up compact, fit in a little box, and you could store them away. All right, so enough on the pool already, but that was my idea how I'm going to be collecting my water through my gutters or whatever I could get out of the pipes when they're still working. They're going to go in here. So I have 3 of these, right? So 3 times 5, 52, you know? So it's a lot of water. And then anytime it rains, I'm going to have my hoses run into my house, filling these things up. But you might want to do is get yourself a little chlorine. They sell the little chlorine packets. And as you fill the water, you could put a little chlorine in there. But like rule of thumb, my rule of thumb in a worst case situation, any water I get, I'm going to boil before I drink it. I don't care where I got it from, how clean I think it is, I'm going to boil. I'm not going to say it again to you. Boil your water all the time, okay? Even if you know it's from a really clean source. Boil your water because in a bad situation, there is no doctors and there's not going to be no hospitals. All right, that's Brooklyn Prepper's advice to you. Always boil your water, even though you think it's clean. You never know. All right, enough with the water. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys, that's part 2 of the series. All right, so just to do a little recap, number 1 priority is to get your family home. Like from part 1, get your family home and all together. Right, have that plan made out. Like I showed you in part 2 over here, right? Where it's important to keep in mind that if things get really bad, you know, you got to get out there right away and start buying up stuff. That's really important. And your water is really important. Like especially, you know, being in the city, these little things are great, right? Because truthfully and honestly, I'm not going to have my home before the fact look like a fortress, like Preppersville. I'm not going to have company coming over and saying, hey dude, why you got a swimming pool in your living room? You know, why is there all those cans with those cut edges all over your windowsills, right? These things I'm teaching you through my other videos are things that you're going to have stored away, and at a moment's notice you could start building this all up. All right? So I hope some of this helped, and remember, the swimming pool is a great idea. You want to stay low profile, especially in the city, right? And for all you city preppers out there, you know, there's a lot going on in the net. You know, if you're not in the country, you're not going to make it in the city. Total nonsense. You'd be good in the city. Just make sure you have your food supply, your water, and get your house in order. All right, so part 3 is going to be coming out real soon, and I'm going to be doing a little buzzing around on the bike with you. Right, we're going to do some scavenging, hunting throughout the city, and see what we can find. Right, maybe hit some of those bodegas and those little mom and pop stores, see what they have available in there, and which some good stuff to buy. Right, and you know, just have some more fun with prepping. Oh, and in part 3 also, I'm going to start showing you how the inside of my house I'm going to start setting up. I'm going to show you my wood burning stove. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be doing my cooking. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to start fortifying my house. All right? And because you got to remember, if the shit does hit the fan, you got a good 72 hours before everything starts getting crazy out there. And to me, that's my rule of thumb. 72 hours before things start getting real nutty. Alright, so you do have time to start setting up and getting all your stuff together. Alright guys, so live for today, prep for tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you for part 3. We'll do some buzzing around, alright? See you later guys.